You are staring at the screen again. Not reading, not working, just staring. The cursor blinks. Your coffee is cold, and somewhere deep in your chest there is a weight. Not pain, not sadness, just weight. You told yourself today would be different. You watched the video, you read the book, you wrote the goal on a sticky note and pressed it to your wall like a prayer. And still, here you are, paralyzed, scrolling through someone else's highlight reel at 2 in the morning, wondering why you cannot seem to just begin. You are not lazy. Let me say that again. You are not lazy. You are drowning in noise, in options, in a relentless stream of notifications that fracture your attention into 1,000 bleeding pieces before your feet even touch the floor.
The world tells you to wake up at 5, to grind while others sleep, to optimize your morning, gamify your habits, hack your dopamine. And so you try. You download the app, you build the spreadsheet, you set the alarm, and for 3 days, maybe 4, it works. You feel sharp, electric, motivated. Then something shifts, the energy fades, the resistance returns, and you find yourself back at the beginning, except now you carry something worse than tiredness, shame. Because you tried, you really tried, and still you failed, again. What no one tells you is that this is not a flaw in your character. It is a flaw in the system, a trap, a loop designed not to free you, but to keep you running. Hustle culture does not want you to succeed. It wants you to chase, forever hungry, forever incomplete, forever one habit, one course, one dopamine spike away from becoming who you were always meant to be. But that future never arrives, because it was never meant to.
The motivation you crave is a drug, a fleeting chemical reward that your brain releases when it anticipates pleasure, not when you achieve, when you anticipate. This is why buying the gym membership feels good, but going to the gym does not. This is why planning the project sparks excitement, but executing it feels like dragging stone through sand. Motivation is a liar. It promises presence and delivers craving. It promises fire and leaves ash. The ancient masters knew this. They did not chase inspiration like we do. They did not wait to feel ready. They understood something that has been buried beneath centuries of industrial ambition and digital acceleration, that the path to power is not through force, it is through surrender. Not weakness, surrender. There is a concept in Taoist philosophy called Wu Wei. It does not translate easily. Some call it non-action, others call it effortless effort, but these words miss the texture. Wu Wei is water. It does not fight the rock. It moves around it, through it. Over time, it shapes mountains, not through aggression, through alignment.
This is what you have forgotten. Not how to work, how to flow. You have been taught to push, to dominate, to conquer the day like it is an enemy. But the day is not your enemy. Neither is your mind. Neither is your body. They have simply been neglected, treated as machines to be optimized rather than temples to be honored. And now they rebel, not out of defiance, out of exhaustion. When a samurai could not lift his blade, he did not curse his arm. He rested.
He listened. He returned to his breath and remembered that skill is not built in moments of aggression. It is built in moments of stillness. There is a Japanese concept called Mushin, no mind. It does not mean emptiness. It means clarity. A state where the noise falls away and all that remains is the action itself, the brushstroke, the breath, the step.
You have felt this before. Maybe once. Maybe in childhood. Maybe in a moment so brief you dismissed it as luck. But it was not luck. It was you. Unobstructed, unafraid, present. The obstacle is not your lack of discipline. It is your attachment to results, to identity, to the image of who you think you should be by now. The ego demands progress. It demands proof. It whispers that rest is weakness and patience is failure. But the ego is not your ally. It is your cage. True discipline does not come from punishment. It comes from reverence, from treating your hours as sacred, from recognizing that every distraction is not a temptation. It is a test, not of your willpower, of your awareness.
In Japan, there is a practice called kaizen, continuous improvement, but not in the way the West interprets it, not massive transformation overnight. Small steps, so small they seem meaningless. One page, one push-up, one breath. The ego rejects this. Too slow, too boring, too invisible. But invisibility is the point, because what is invisible cannot be performed, and what cannot be performed cannot be corrupted. This is the secret the productivity industry will never sell you. You do not need more tools, you need less noise. You do not need more motivation, you need alignment with your body, with your rhythm, with the work that matters.
There is a Japanese word that has no English equivalent, Ganbaru. It is often translated as do your best, but that misses the soul of it. Ganbaru means to persist with patience, to endure without bitterness, to show up not because you are rewarded, but because showing up is who you are. Not for the applause, not for the outcome, for the act itself. The Zen masters did not meditate to become enlightened. They meditated because meditation was the practice. The process was the point. There was no destination, only presence, only now. This is the shift. This is the turning. You do not need to become a new person. You need to stop abandoning the one you already are. Every time you wait for motivation, you betray yourself. Every time you chase a feeling before beginning, you give away your power. Discipline, real discipline, is not loud. It is quiet. It does not announce itself. It simply begins. Before the resistance, before the negotiation, before the mind can construct its usual architecture of delay. You do not need to feel ready. You were never going to feel ready. Readiness is a myth sold to keep you still. The masters did not wait. They moved. Not with violence, with grace. Stillness in motion. Order beneath chaos. Freedom through form. This is not about waking up earlier or sleeping less or adding more pressure to an already fractured foundation. This is about subtraction, removing what clutters, silencing what distracts, returning to the singular. 1 hour of depth is worth 10 hours of drift. One task, fully held, transforms more than 100 half-touched. Your attention is not a resource to be stretched, it is a blade to be sharpened. And you have been dulling it for years. Not because you are weak, because the world has trained you to scatter, to multitask, to fragment, to exist in a dozen places at once and wonder why you feel like a ghost in all of them.
But you are not a ghost. You are a warrior. Tired, disoriented, lost, but not defeated. You have simply forgotten the path. And forgetting is not failure. Forgetting is human. The question is not whether you will fall. You will. The question is whether you will return, again and again and again, without drama, without despair, with nothing but the quiet decision to begin once more. There is a Zen koan that asks, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Nothing changes. Everything changes. The work remains the same, but you are no longer at war with it. You are no longer at war with yourself.
So I leave you here, not with a solution, not with a system, with a question. What if you stopped waiting? What if the motivation you have been chasing was never meant to arrive? What if the only permission you needed was the one you have been refusing to give yourself? What would happen if you began right now, before the fear, before the doubt, before the noise returns? What if you simply moved, not toward a goal, toward yourself? Sit with this. Do not answer, not yet. Let the silence hold you. And when you are ready, not when you feel ready, but when you choose to be ready, begin.